Minnesota's getting better, and this is not a game where you play the record. You play what they're capable of, and they're right there. And they have been, including ours, they have been in all of these games that they've played, and they've come down to the wire or overtime or the last couple of possessions. And I know our guys are locked in, and we're going to need every bit of that because they create a lot of problems because they can drive it, they can shoot. They get very good movement. They're very good in the ball screen game. They can do different things defensively with their pressure, and they can mix defenses. So our focus has got to be really high, and it is. But now we've got to carry it out into this game, and we've had 2 practices with a day off Wednesday included here to get better, and that's the whole focus. It's just how do we keep improving? How do we keep building on what we're doing? How do we keep better at get better at things that we need for not only for the game, for each game, but for each player, and for ourselves to keep expanding our games. So we're working hard at that. I love their attitude towards it, but we're going to have to really play well tomorrow because again, every Big Ten game is like that, and we can't bank on the fact that we've had some really good games here, and it'll just be that type of game. We've got to really come out and earn it, and establish that we're going to play with a real aggressive nature from the very beginning. So we're looking forward to it. Go ahead.
Turnovers didn't seem too egregious, I guess, in the previous couple weeks, I guess, before the Wisconsin game. Was Tuesday more of a product of, I guess, Wisconsin doing something? Or
no, we didn't make the simple play, and I think they saw that. We drove into the paint a little bit too much. We just didn't make as many simple plays, especially off the ball screen, as we could have made. And there was a little fatigue, and there was a little of their defensive pressure, but it was really, when you look at the film, it was more us. And we're not a dribbling team. We're a driving team and a driving kick team and a drive, kick, and reverse it team. And when we start over dribbling, we're not nearly as good. And teams can play the dribble pretty well. So to me, it's just a matter of making sure that we are. And again, I think they see this there's no need for the unforced turnovers, especially when you can make the next simple play. And again, home, road, whatever it is, we just have to play that way. And we've got to keep getting better at that, because when you take the turnovers out of our game, I mean, our offense is that much better. And we want to make sure that we're getting to that as much as possible. And if we turn it over because the other team did something, or we turn it over because we tried to make a play that we thought was there, sometimes that happens. You can get going too fast, but you can't make plays where you over dribble and try to find something that's not there when the simple play is available.
I guess as part of that too, it seemed like a couple times, maybe earlier in the first half, there were some issues, I guess, feeding Thomas down in the post.
Yeah, we tried. That's a great point. We tried to feed it. He didn't seal as well as he could have, and it was even more late than it was early. But there's a little too much looking that pass in instead of maybe getting into the next guy, getting reversed. So I love the fact that we're trying to get it inside. But some of that has got to be that we've got to do a better job. It's either open right away, or we've got to get it kicked to the next guy and let him try. But we're not going to stop. I mean, we're built on. We have to be built on going through the paint or going through the post, and have to. And not just because we want to get to the free throw line more, but because that's when we're at our best. That's when our shooting is at our best. So. That's what that is. It's trying to do the right thing, just trying to do it maybe a little bit too long sometimes, or a little bit too quick.
I know we obviously asked about Hap on Tuesday night in the game he had, but it felt like Thomas had some good moments for a freshman on the road in the Big Ten. Is he getting more comfortable going into environments like that, not letting them affect him, I guess?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He wants to play with emotion, and we want him to play with emotion, but not emotional. And I think there's a difference, and we want to keep helping him understand that. And what happens on the road sometimes, you can get very anxious. It's harder to get your second win sometimes. I think he went through a little bit of that. We had some foul issues with it, but he comes back and he works at it incredibly hard every day. And it's Dave Rice is with us right now for the next few days. And obviously he's got a good view of his team from being at UNLV. And one of the things that I love when you ask somebody that is when he sees the difference in his game, from when they played him in November. So it's always good to get another perspective on it. But I mean, he is that way. He's getting better constantly. And Juwan and OG are doing the same thing. They all are. They all are. That's why we don't want to put ourselves in a bind when we don't when we create turnovers that we don't need to create when we can just make a simple play. But he's very cognizant of what he's got to get better at. He watches the film. He buys into the extra work. He understands the drills, and he responds to the coaching. And when you have a guy like that, he's going to get nothing but better.
What's the connection with Dave Rice?
I just like him. I think he's a great coach, and I think he got a really bad deal, and that's my opinion. I think he's an outstanding coach. He's one of the tougher coaches that I've prepared for as a head coach, and I've had a lot of respect for him since he was an assistant. So I don't know him that well. I just have I have great respect for him, admiration for him, and know he's going to be a head coach again, hopefully soon. And I feel for guys that go through tough situations, like I think he did. And I think anybody that really pays attention to it, in my mind, knows that he got a very raw deal at UNLV. And we can bring him in here for a couple of days to keep him around the game and have him be around us and learn some things from him, then we're that much better.
You talked about it a little bit, but I mean, just kind of what, I don't want to call it an advantage, but he has seen this team. He has prepared for this team this season. Just kind of what can you glean from him?
Oh, it's too early. He just got here. It's more observatory, right now. It's more that. And we do it with other people, but it's too early for that. We'll get that, once we get to the end of the trip. But he's just taking it in, and I like having people around. Our head coaches, right? So I like having people around that really know what they're doing and that have done it and that have that feel. So when you get another set of eyes on it, you can't help but get better from that. So we'll see what it's like when he's done.
Tom, your team's forcing a lot more turnovers year over year. I mean, Yogi's already has more steals than he did for the whole season last year. Does your data on deflections and so forth show individual?
Oh, it's very high. It's high, but it can get even higher because I think the one thing that we can do is we can play wider. We can play even wider and longer. And we're very concerned about, our stick hand and really getting our hand up into the ball, into the shooter and taking away a good look. In fact, we got a little too close the other night at Wisconsin, but the bottom line is we're really working on making sure that stick hand and that offhand is right. We're trying to really make sure that we spend time with referees again in yesterday, that we're keeping our hands free as much as possible. But I think we can get even wider and longer on the ball, off the ball, and hopefully create even more issues as we go on. That's definitely an area that we can get better at, even though our individual numbers and team numbers and deflections are good. But I think we can even create more as we go on. And again, it's not, I don't know where we're at on spending a lot of time with full court pressure. I mean, you take a guy out like James that was getting 26 minutes a game, and it cuts into your guard play. As OG and Juwan develop, because they can guard so many different people, that helps. But we can play even more aggressive and without fouling, and bring our hands to an activity level, even a higher level.
There was a stretch of a few minutes in the second half where it seemed like every time Troy Williams got the ball, he kind of just drove straight to the hoop. Was that by design, or was that just him feeling confident?
Well, I'd say, I know what you're talking about. I would say he read things. And I think when he plays with his head up and he's aggressive with the ball and the rest of the guys are moving, your driving game is because of the movement of the other people. It's like that's where your threes come from. I mean, and what we've had to get better and better at, we want to get better and better at, but we've had to, without James being in there, is the movement without the ball. And because when you take a guy like that out of the game that shoots the ball the way that he does, and I've said this before, but it puts more pressure on the other guys. So, and they did a pretty good job the other night of staying with the shooters, which freed up the middle of the lane that much more. We didn't have a lot of trouble scoring points. Now, with that being said, even with Troy, he missed too many close, easy shots. He missed too many right around the rim shots. And we make 2 more of those inside of that game. It's a different story for us in that game, notwithstanding all the difference in the foul shooting and all that. So we want to go with a purpose, and we want to make the right play, whether it's the rim or whether it's the next pass. but Troy's got that ability to do that. And what now we just need even better execution around the basket when he does go.
Looking at Minnesota, is there anything that they're doing differently now compared to the first time you played them?
I don't think they've lost any confidence, and I think that's a tribute to Richard. I really do. I mean, they're right there, and they're going to win games. We just don't want it to be in here tomorrow. I mean, they are right there, and it's not coach speak. I mean, the scores reflect that. When you watch them on film, it shows that, and they're getting better, and they're aggressive getting to the basket. They're doing a very good job of scoring on turnovers. I'd say if you give them the ball, they're going to go get the basket, with the speed that they play with. And, but I'd say that's, in 2 weeks, that's basically, they're getting better. I mean, so it's not like they've changed a lot of their X's and O's. There's some different things, just like we would have some different things. But you've got guys out there that are playing like they play like they belong.
It's a little off topic, but you've mentioned Stephen Houston on the last couple of Monday radio shows. What has he brought to you?
He's an intern. He is a strength conditioning intern. He's brought, I just used him as an example with a couple of guys that are here, because my old coach at Elma College is here, Ralph Pym, and a man named Mike DeVilbus, who was a friend of Rob's, who was a coach on the ladies' side. And so they're just here. And I said, Stephen Houston, I said, has gone from playing for the Steelers, the Patriots, and in the CFL to being in here making us better and mixing energy, nutritional shakes right now. He is a selfless person. And I mean, again, I see his athleticism, watch them play here. I mean, to me, I'm not in the NFL, but I'm surprised he's not, right? And I hope he gets that opportunity, but he has been excellent. And he's got such a great relationship with Lionel and such a respect for him that they work so well together. But Steven's got a competitiveness to him. He's got a high level of respect from the players. He's got a selfless nature. He's got an edge to him, which I think is really important. And because you want those ingredients, and that's how you win. You win with players that are selfless. You win with players that have an edge. This is not easy. It is very hard to be a college basketball player, a college football player, a pro athlete like he and Lionel were. And you got to really work at it, right? And so I think the more people you have around them that bring those values day in and day out, it's better for them. And so he's been, it's been an outstanding thing having him with us.
And how much does it help to have him, because he's a very recent student athlete?
Oh, I think it helps a lot. I think it helps him because he knows the players. I think it helps them, guys like Yogi that know him. But I think Stephen gets your attention real quick. I mean, he's got a real personality. But again, there's not an arrogance. I mean, I see why he's such a good running back. He's extremely confident. But it's not, you look forward to playing against the guys that have a high level of arrogance. You're always going to be concerned about the players that have a real strong level of confidence, right? And in a guy like Steven, he's got a real strong level of confidence. The arrogant guy at some point in time going to try to do it himself. And they win some games, but at some point in time they're going to try to do it themselves and not need their teammates. The confident guys know they need their teammates. And that's what you want people around your team constantly that share those values. So I think the age thing probably does help. Lionel's like their age, right? And Lionel and Steven keep us all younger. I know that, the whole staff.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.